Good evening, I'm Vasilios Bellos. Thanks for joining us. Let's dive right into what's happening here in Thunder Bay, where there was a significant police presence on May Street today when officers responded to a weapons call. Police arrived to the street's 200 block around 2 o'clock this afternoon. The service's forensics team was also on scene. The investigation appeared to be focused on the building at the corner of May and Simpson Street. There's no word at this time on any injuries or arrests. To City Hall now, where after multiple delays, Mayor Ken Boshkov will finally be giving his State of the City address at tomorrow night's council meeting. It was originally meant to happen in early January during council's first meeting of 2024. Boshkov has titled the address, "All Roads Lead to Thunder Bay." The mayor's hinted that it'll focus on the city's strategic location in the country and how the expected mining boom will benefit Thunder Bay. 2023 was a record-setting year for cruise ships coming to Thunder Bay. 4 different vessels made a total of 14 visits, bringing 5,300 passengers to the city. And that record-breaking trend is going to continue this year, with 17 vessel visits planned, including 2 new cruise ships making their first ever stops here. Nev Van Pelt reports.
Thunder Bay has become one of Canada's busiest cruise ship ports of call, with more than a dozen tour stops in each of the past 2 years. This upcoming season, the ships arriving will include the Viking Octantis and the Vikings Polaris and the Hanseatic Inspiration, which all made tour stops here last year. And there are 2 new ships coming, Peninsula Champlain and Pearl Seas Cruises Pearl Mist. The first ship of the year is going to be the Octantis, which will arrive on June 5th. Thunder Bay Tourism Manager Paul Pepe is excited for the busy season ahead.
We have days where we're going to have 2 ships in port on the same day. And, the cruise lines, they map out their entire annual route of where their ships are going to be every single day. And so it's a nice problem to have when you actually start to see 2 ships in a port in the same day. It's happening more and more in the Great Lakes.
The north shore of Lake Superior has been mainly untouched by the cruise industry until recently. And according to Pepe, it is something many passengers are looking for. As the closest gateway port to the National Marine Conservation Area, this works in Thunder Bay's favor.
And part of it is the Great Lakes is really regarded as one of the last untapped cruise markets for the expedition and discovery market. And there's more people looking for those more intimate, more educational cruises. So more companies now are starting to develop ships and itineraries for them. So we're benefiting from that.
Tourism Thunder Bay continues to make investments in the Pool 6 dock as it transforms and is working with the cruise lines to ensure the best possible amenities there. Pepe explains they aren't expecting to keep breaking records for cruise ship visits in the years ahead, but he's not too concerned about lower numbers in the future.
For example, in 2025, we are looking at less visits than 2024. It's the nature of the cruise industry. It's cyclical. I think we have 11 or 12 vessel visits already booked for 2025, which is a bit lower, but still really positive for the community. So we're looking to make investments that are practical, pragmatic, cost-effective, and meet the needs of the ships.
The last of the 17 cruise ship visits this upcoming season will be Hanseatic Inspiration on October 5th. Nev Van Pelt, TBT News.
Thunder Bay residents were invited to the Baggage Arts building earlier this week to learn more about what's in store for arts, culture, and heritage. The city's Recreation and Culture Division hosted an open house to present the draft framework for its new culture plan. Lost and destroyed, words I'm struggling with. The event came after the city's consultant, Nordis City, provided a presentation to council on the framework of the culture plan last Monday. Attendees had the opportunity to hear and ask questions about the plan, as well as provide feedback and ideas with sticky notes on various boards stationed around the building. The event also featured live music and an art activity hosted by the Community Arts and Heritage Education Project. Supervisor Luisa Costanzo says their focus for the event was to connect with the community.
Tonight is really just about engagement, so we're working on the culture plan, and we're at that midpoint where we have some framework, and we'd like to get just some feedback from the public. Yeah, I think honestly, like bringing people out, bringing people together, talking, and culture is all about everyone in our community, so I think it's extremely important.
Those unable to attend the open house can still provide feedback online at getinvolvedthunderbay.ca. More cases of measles have been reported in Canada this year than the country saw in all of 2023. And as March break travel begins, the Northwestern Health Unit is advising people to check if they're fully immunized. Although there are no confirmed cases of measles in Northwestern Ontario, there are currently 7 active cases in other parts of the province. The NWHU wants to prevent the disease from coming into the western part of the region, which is why they're reminding people to get immunized. Measles is a serious disease that spreads very easily from person to person. Dr. Kit Young-Hoon says it's essential to be sure that families are up to date on their routine immunizations.
So 90% of non-immune people who are exposed to the virus will get sick. Being in an airplane or other enclosed or indoor space, sharing the air with other people, exposes everyone in that space to measles if there's an infected person present. Measles can be a severe infection and is still one of the leading causes of vaccine-preventable deaths in children worldwide.
Signs and symptoms of measles can start out with a high fever and cold-like symptoms, which can then lead to developing white spots in the mouth or throat. At about 4 days after the initial symptoms, a red blotchy rash can appear on the face or body. We head over to Dryden now, where 35 years ago today, Air Ontario Flight 1363 crashed just after takeoff from the city's airport. The devastating accident killed 24 people, changed aviation safety standards, and made a lasting mark on the entire region. Now the Dryden Museum is commemorating the tragedy. The exhibit opened on March 1st and wrapped up today. It featured information about the crash, what went wrong, the impact it had on aviation, as well as recognizing the effort of local responders. Curator Michelle Walter has spent the past 2 years researching the incident and says the work will continue after the exhibit.
It's a key piece of local history, but also it touches on a national story as well. The crash itself impacted aviation nationally and internationally in a way. So we're looking at the science behind the incident and the response efforts to recognize those in town who responded.
Walter says there is something to learn from the exhibit for both locals and visitors of all ages, and she encourages everyone to pay a visit to the Dryden Museum. The Ontario Aircraft Maintenance Engineers Association is traveling around Ontario to promote their profession. Thunder Bay's St. Ignatius High School students was one of their recent stops, where many students had the opportunity to learn from the project. Earlier this year, the association was granted around $500,000 from the Ontario Ministry of Labour for their Skills Development Fund project. Students had the chance to participate in interactive activities, as well as learn about future opportunities from aircraft maintenance engineers, along with representatives from Wasaya Airlines and Confederation College.
These types of outreach programmings help us meet the next generation of workers. So today's youth are tomorrow's leaders, and it's very important to help them understand all the opportunities that are available to them.
If students come into this event with an interest already in the aviation sector, or if they got an interest sparked while they were here, then Confederation College is here to kind of help them and show them the pathway to get there.
I've kind of shown some interest and I kind of like it, but you know what? I might have to take some look down this road, go to the Confederation College and, look at it. And no, I really like this experience today. It was really good and they did a great job.
The outreach program ran in both the morning and afternoon on Thursday, with all of the school specialist high schools major, technology careers, and co-op classes having the chance to attend. Lakehead students at the local community got together this weekend to celebrate Indigenous culture and dance for the 34th annual Indigenous Cultural Tradition Club's Powow. Jessica Clement has the story.
The C.J. Sanders Fieldhouse at Lakehead was packed for the annual Indigenous Cultural Traditions Club's Powow, with hundreds coming out to dance and drum over the weekend. The weekend included drummers from across the region, traditional dances and regalia, and a traditional feast on Saturday. The powwow has been held for the past 34 years, and ICTC President Jordan Thompson Van Conant says hosting it is a wonderful step forward in the path of reconciliation.
It's a wonderful gathering that brings people from all across the world together. We have a lot of international students here today. We have youth all the way up to elders. It's an incredible turnout to see the diversity here at the powwow, and we're so thankful that we're able to be a part of bringing this to everyone.
Thompson Van Conant says he's noticed more international students volunteering for the powwow and wanting to learn more about Indigenous culture.
From everyone that I've heard of that's an international student that's come up to me, all the volunteers, everyone who's arrived as a guest, they've just been astounded by just getting to see how everything plays out, because for a lot of them, this is their first powwow they've ever got to experience. And getting to be a part of that and to show them how everything works and to have them volunteer as well, they've been so amazed.
This weekend's spiritual advisor, Carmilla Moses, says it's amazing to see the powwow bring all members of the Thunder Bay community together.
With our nationality itself, with being Indigenous, we're welcoming people, and to see other nations come together to try to help organize and make it run smoothly, it shows a true definition of, people in society trying to come together, to work together, to obtain and have that structure.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
We're now joined by sports anchor Josh Morano. Josh, things are, of course, warming up. Not quite golf season yet, but we're starting off our show with some golf competitions.
Yep, on the links, hosting a cross-border battle today down on the links virtual simulator, but we'll have the story for you when we come back.